Shh. LabRats.tv. Dude, you're drooling. Hey, I'm Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
And welcome to day 2 of LabRats on location at Macworld.
In San Francisco.
In San Francisco, that's right. Today we're going to talk to, we're going to go see a bunch of gadgets. Mm-hmm. Who else are we going to talk to?
We're going to talk to Mikkel Aaland.
Oh yeah, Mikkel.
He's one of our Photoshop gurus.
That's right. This guy knows everything about digital cameras. He's a pro photographer. He talks to us about RAW, right? The RAW file format.
Yeah, right. Both Apple and Adobe have introduced new solutions for dealing with RAW photographs and managing them. So.
Plus interviews with some really cool Apple geeks. Amber MacArthur. We're going to talk to Amber MacArthur.
We're going to talk to Amber.
And one of my favorite guys, Patrick Norton. We're going to have a chat with him.
If we can get a hold of him.
If we can get a hold of him.
He's a busy guy.
He really is. So lots coming up here at day 2 of Macworld. Stay tuned, because here we go. Well, I had the great pleasure of meeting up with Mikkel Aaland, one of my favorite camera geeks, if I may say so. He's also an author with O'Reilly, right? Tell me a little bit about your book.
Well, we have a new book coming out in a few weeks. It's called Photoshop CS2 RAW. Ooh. And RAW, I love that name, RAW. And you know what RAW is, of course.
It's WWF, isn't it?
Of course. No, we're in a different genre now. We're talking about digital photography, and the RAW is that unadulterated data that comes off the chip in your digital camera. And more people are starting to really understand how exciting it is to use that data and to work with that data. But you need to know what you're doing with it. And that's what my book's all about.
Very good. Tell me a little bit about Macworld. What's impressed you at Macworld this year as far as photography goes?
Well, the big talk here this year is a program that Apple came out with recently, not this show, but previously, called Aperture. Aperture has really shot a whole new excitement into the whole world of RAW, because as more and more people start shooting and using the RAW format from their camera, they need to be able to organize and work with that data. And Aperture's built all the way ground up to handle lots of RAW files seamlessly, quickly, easily. So it's very exciting. Now, of course, the big news yesterday was Adobe announced kind of a direct competitor to Aperture, had to get in there with their product as well, and that's called Lightroom. And when you look at the two side by side, you just start wondering, how did that happen? Because they look very closely the same.
So tell me then, for soccer moms out there,
yeah.
Does this impact them?
It impacts anybody that wants to get the most out of their digital camera. It really does. Because if you want to take your pictures to that next level, to go beyond just the point and shoot, that's when you start getting into RAW. The minute you get into RAW, you get into that world of how to manage that RAW file. It's bigger. There's more data there. You need to know how to work with it, how to make a good print from it. So it does impact people that want to make better photographs.
Now, I understand you had a hand in developing the Adobe product.
I have worked as a non-paid advisor for Adobe on various projects, including the Elements product.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so that's why I have several books on Photoshop Elements as well. Mm-hmm. A year and a half ago, Adobe started working on this product that had a different name, of course, a code name, which has now become Lightroom, and they came down to my studio and saw how I was working as a professional photographer, and we interacted. There were several of us. The one thing that Adobe does so well is they go and they listen to photographers and try to figure out what are the photographers' needs. So we've been working with Adobe for the last year, trying to make this program really, really work, and I think they've done a great job.
There you go, the RAW Meister here, Mikkel Aaland at Macworld. Thanks so much.
Nice to see you, Andy.
You too.
Okay.
So I'm here with Sebastian from LaCie, and we're looking at some fantastic new drives here, very colorful too. What can you tell me about these?
That's right, these 3 products are the latest ones that we're launching here. First is the Skwarim drive. They're available in 2 colors, pink and blue, and 2 sizes, 30 gig and 60 gig. Mm-hmm. And this is a mobile bus-powered drive that we're launching here by famous designer, Karim, I believe is his name.
Design is everything these days.
It's all about design. The other one is the rugged drive. This is a triple interface, the rugged drive. It's basically an SUV of hard drives. You can take it off-road with you. It will survive a 3-foot drop.
Well, let's drop it now.
Let's drop it. It has built-in bumpers, allow it to sustain a shock like this, along with the silicone around the drive.
Can it take that when it's actually in use?
It can, but obviously it's recommended that it's really more of a precautionary measure.
Right.
And the final product that we're showing here is the little big disc. Now this, I'm predicting that this will win the Best of Show award, and the reason is this is the smallest size, biggest capacity, fastest mobile hard drive on the market right now.
How big is this?
This goes all the way to 320 gig.
320 gig in that?
In that. It will be available at 7,200 RPM, and it's bus powered. So if you're using this on your laptop, you can be anywhere, and this little RAID solution, using 2 drives, will be able to power off your laptop.
Mobile professionals, take note. This is excellent. Thanks, Sebastian.
Pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about Andy's love life right now and whether or not he's actually involved with Cher or if the Heather Locklear rumors are true.
You know, see, Patrick suddenly hijacks my interview. How'd you like that? Yeah, actually, you know what? You learn well from Leo, right?
Yes. Trigger to take charge and go completely off course as quickly as possible.
That's the Leo Laporte style.
That way, when you actually get back to the questions you wanted to ask, you're so grateful you ask all softballs.
Anyway, I wanted to ask you what's going on in your head with all this Mac news. What do you think is the big what's the big news of the show, and how do you feel about it?
I think the FM radio adapter probably trumps everything else that's been announced at the show. iLife, iWeb, total subterfuge. It's all about maintaining the iPod. Well, you know, closing in on, 83% of the market they're claiming for iPod hardware.
The iPod really, it's reinvented Apple, hasn't it?
The iPod has saved Apple's ass, actually, I think is the phrase I'd use. But you know, has it reinvented Apple? Absolutely. Has it provided a huge revenue stream for Apple? Absolutely. Is it going to possibly be the inroad to have a huge flux of Windows users translate to Apple? Possibly. It'll be interesting to watch.
And then, so how does the Intel inside Apple factor into all of this as well?
Totally insignificant.
Who cares? Who cares? It was going to happen sooner or later anyway.
It was fun. We were sitting, actually, you were over there. There was listening to like David Pogue and Leo talking the other night, and they were just like, did you see how fast it was? It was an apple and a blink, and it was gone, and it was started. And David Pogue's like, oh my god, and Leo was like, great. I can now buy a $2,000 notebook that'll outperform my $3,000 desktop machine.
But I heard a lot of snorting coming from your microphone.
Well, I think it was like me and Chris Breen, like, yeah, they look amazing. It's great. Let's see what happens in the real world. There's no support for the major professional applications like Final Cut and Photoshop right now. Are they faster? Yeah, I'd say absolutely. Battery life, big question mark right now. Apple's staying mum, so we'll know more about. I'm going to try to actually use a consonant in that word. We'll know more about that in February.
You learned that on TV journalism, eh?
Oh, man. Is that what I did? It's more like I'd have the voice in my head with the IFB going, God, would you please language enunciate? And all the stuff you can't hear right now is part really big. Cursing, foul, evil, sailor-like streaks in my ear. Nice. It's good. What's fascinating for a lot of people, I think, is that you're going to be able to run Windows XP on these boxes because it's confirmed. Schiller actually confirmed that they're doing nothing to prevent with the Windows operating system from running on the Mac hardware for at least 5 years.
Now, don't we need a chipset drivers and that sort of thing? Or will it be standard drivers from an Intel board?
If it's coming out of Intel, it's all standard Intel drivers. That's what I'm understanding. We're actually waiting for. PC Mag Labs just ordered in an iMac for testing, so we're going to find out some more about that, and we'll talk about that on www.dl.tv. That's a delightful online television programming.
Nice plug.
Technology, yes. I learned that from Dvorak. If you go up to my blog, if you go up to my web show, it's www.dl.tv, you'll find. I'd tell you more, but I want you to go to the website.
Hey, do you know that our RSS feeds are exactly like yours because I ripped yours off?
I'm so sorry. It took us. RSS feeds are kind of like. Is this a child-friendly podcast?
It's a PG. Oh, by the way, talking about shameless plugs. I've been a shameless plugger on this show for a long, long time, and Sean's been saying, you have been shamelessly plugging your book. Well, I have a copy of my book here that I'm going to give to you. Remember, I said I'm going to give you my copy of my book. So there you go.
No, folks, you may be trying to figure out a better way to keep security, spam, spyware, and viruses off your system. And if you'd picked up this fine book, which has a foreword by Leo Laporte, the man who invented the book promo on video and podcasting, Absolute Beginner's Guide, Security, Spam, Spyware, and Viruses. I probably could have said that off the top of my head, but I was afraid I was going to screw it up. But really, go out and buy a copy of this right now, because it will save your life and the life of your friends and neighbors if and only if you buy them copies. So if you love your children and your nieces and nephews, you'll buy them a copy of the Absolute Beginner's Guide to Security, Spam, Spyware, and Viruses.
And you thought I was a shameless plugger. Thank you.
I'll show you pimping. Sorry.
That's very good. Thank you very much. So it didn't even hear from you. You heard with me. I said buy the book. Now Patrick says buy the book. So
I'm sure it's quite wonderful.
it is. It's the funniest security book you'll ever read.
I will read it and I will review it. Then we will tell.
Yeah, please do on, what was it, dltv.com?
www.dl.tv. Yeah, let's try that again. www.dl.tv. Can you tell we're shamelessly plugging now?
www.dl.tv.
This is all part of the podcastosphere.
Any
It's all a twisted web of interrelationships.
any parting words?
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see what the new Macs are looking like. The FM radio transmitter I mock, but I'm kind of curious to see how it performs. And I want to know when iTunes is going to have better video import tools. That would be really nice to have those native in iTunes. And if you haven't seen it, check it out. There's an interesting thing up on Boing Boing right now where they're claiming that for all of you who didn't assume already that Apple was monitoring what you downloaded and played through iTunes to give you song recommendations, they have some guarantees like that they've been looking at IP traffic, and there's some monitoring going on based on some Omniture code in there. So
I'd like to actually have better iTunes publishing tools for people like you and I who are publishing video podcasting.
that would be nice.
Because a lot of our feeds are actually going to an old server.
Yes, RSS and XML, things you can tweak because you have to. RSS, I said what I was going to say, is I got lost in trying to figure out how to describe it without using expletives. RSS is a complicated mess right now, and it's changing too fast for its own good, especially when you've got, Yahoo throwing media data in there, and pretty much everybody's like, hey, we're going to throw a bag on the side of this box, because, RSS can do everything if we just throw more crap at it. So if you are setting up a new podcast, copying somebody else's is a way to do it, and there's a couple really good tools out there, none of which I can think of at the moment, but as soon as I remember them, I'll kick you an email.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Patrick Norton, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks.
Thank you.
So I'm here with AMAC, Amber MacArthur from CommandN and Call for Help. So Amber, what have you thought about the show so far?
It's been wonderful. It's been really, really busy. I haven't had a chance to see Steve Jobs speak before, so it was really exciting to see him get up there and really captivate the audience. And I even hear he wasn't as good as he normally is, but to me he was wonderful.
Yeah, people were saying he was a little bit under the weather this time.
Yes, that's what I heard. I guess he was less enthusiastic than he normally is, but I still think he did a great job, and it was an Apple press conference and always entertaining.
Yeah, he still knew how to work the crowd. I never suspected he was such a wit.
I didn't realize he was so funny. That's what I was surprised about.
So what have you seen at the show so far that you really enjoyed?
I really want a MacBook Pro, so one of the new laptops that's just come out, the Intel laptops, 15 inches, the built-in camera, it's super fast. I've had a chance to play around with it and just opened a bunch of applications and been testing it out, and it's just like really, really quick. So I definitely want to get one of those and order one. I think you can order them and they ship in February.
Right, I can't wait for that either.
I know.
Is anything else caught your eye?
I'm obviously a big fan of some of the stuff that's come out in iLife 06, especially the new application iWeb, so people can easily create their own websites. And I know a lot of people said, oh, well, it's not customizable enough. But the truth is, it's really good, for a family or an individual who wants to be able to get online and do a lot of multimedia like podcasts and blogs, and really start playing around with having a website, and a website that's really rich with content. So I like iWeb. It seems like a great app, and it's inexpensive within iLife.
Yeah, I guess for full effect you need the .Mac account, but apparently you can actually use it without the .Mac account. And you need to do a little bit of manual tweaking, but I think it's still a good start.
Yeah, I think you'd probably want to get the .Mac account if you're really serious about using it and using it to feature all of your podcasts and your blogs and that type of thing. So it's probably worth investing in a .Mac account, which I still think is a little bit expensive.
So what's a final verdict on the show? Up, down?
I would give it a thumbs up. I think it's great, again, just to hang out with a bunch of different people who are Mac enthusiasts and really excited about some of the products. And there's a bunch of other products on the floor. There's accessories, there's software. There's people here from Comic Life, and they won an award. They're that Mac app that allows you to easily create strips of comics, and a bunch of other companies that I haven't really heard too much about.
Delicious Monster. I
Very
love that.
cool.
Yeah, I've got a huge amount of CDs and DVDs and books. This is going to help me out immensely.
That is an excellent application. I saw that a while ago. I haven't had a chance to play around with it, but I know it's really popular and it's one of the best out there for cataloging all of your media.
Right. Thanks, Amber.
Thank you.
So we're here with Dariana and Michaela from iMeme, and we're bowling here to finish off Macworld.
It's day 2, the end of day 2, and of course the show wouldn't be complete without a rousing game of bowling. But before we go, tell us, gals, a little bit about iMeme.
Well, iMeme is available for the Mac today, and you can you can meme, you can blog, and it's a great tool. Download it at imeme.com.
It's a social networking program, right?
Yep. That's
Fun
right.
way
To communicate with all your friends.
And can you bowl on it?
If you want.
If you
Virtual
want,
bowling.
your bowling team could get together on imeme.com, correct?
You could definitely chat about it.
All right, and then you can take pictures and of things like people like bowling like me, right?
Yes,
like
that's right.
Why.
And Andy's going to get a strike. He's about due right now. Let's go. Stunning.